Hello, welcome to the video lecture series brought to you by St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. My name is Ravinder. I am an assistant professor with ETC department, and we are discussing the subject of programming for problem solving using C. And today we are going to start a new topic called recursions. Okay. Now I will try to complete this particular topic in this lecture and in next lecture. Today we are going to see what is the idea behind recursions and a small example, and tomorrow we are going to see a typical problem that is being implemented by the help of the idea called recursion. So recursion is basically not a technique but an idea. And this idea, you can see this particular idea in the implementation whenever a function calls itself. When a function calls itself. Okay. The idea behind calling itself is called as recursion in the layman terms, while the main logic behind this is, so I will try to explain a very simple problem which can be implemented by the use of recursion, and then we will see how we'll go to the IDE and then we'll practically see if that is valid or not, if it works or not. Okay. So I think you must all be familiar with the word called factorial of a number. Okay. Now for factorial, what would you write that? Suppose if I want to factorial of 5, so I will write something like this, and this will actually be implemented as 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 and multiplied by 1. Okay. And if I suppose I want to find out the factorial of 4, I would write this, and it will means 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1. Okay. So I think you must all be familiar with the factorial until now. It's a very basic concept of mathematics. So all I have to do is, if I have to find out a factorial of a number, let's say x, all I have to do is just multiply the number starting from x and ranging to backwards until 1. So what I mean is, let's say this is x, then x multiplied by x minus 1, x minus 2, x minus 3, so on, until we reach to a point where the value of x minus 1 is 1. Okay, or the last term we have reached must be equal to 1. If that point is reached, then the multiplying the whole series the result will be called as the factorial of a number. So in this case, the factorial must be equal to, let's say 5 multiplied by 4 is 20, multiplied by 3 is 60, and then 120. So 120 is the factorial of number 5. Sorry, factorial of number 5. And if I have to calculate the factorial of number 4, I will multiply all these numbers. So 4 multiplied by 3 is 12 and 2 is 24. 24 is the factorial of number 4. Now for implementing this, if we don't use the idea of recursion, what we can do is, suppose we can initialize a for loop, and let's suppose we have already initialized a variable called I. So I will start this. I will be equal to, let's say your number is x, you have to find the value of x basically, x must be greater than 0 and x is minus minus. Okay, and if I start here, so all I have to do is, let's say fact is a variable, is equal to fact multiplied by I, and that is it. And before that, let me initialize int fact equal to 1 and comma I. Okay, So what I have done here is, let's say initial value of fact is equal to 1. For while I am getting inside this loop, I will initialize a variable I equal to, which I have already declared here. So equal to x. X is the number for which you want to find the factorial. Let's say in this example, the value of x is equal to 4. And I will say that I will keep on going on through this loop until and unless the value of 4 is equal to 0. That is, for this loop to be continued, the value of x must be greater than 0. Okay, so the last value of x must be equal to 1, not 0. Okay? And at every iteration of this loop, I will decrement the value of x by 1. So this, I think you must all be familiar with the for loop until now. So what is inside is of more concern. What I will do is I will write something like fact is equal to fact multiplied by 1. Okay. The initial value of fact is, as you can see here, is 1. So when I get inside the loop, the value of I is equal to 4. If I want to find the factorial of 4, and I will check the condition. If the value of x is greater than 0, the value of x is actually 4, which is greater than 0. Okay, then we're going to go inside this loop, and in this loop I will update the value of fact. The updated value of fact will be equal to the initial value of fact, that is equal to 1 multiplied by the value of I in this particular iteration of the loop. The value of I in this particular iteration is 4. So 1 multiplied by 4 is 4. And after this line, the value of x will be decremented by 1. So the value of I, oh sorry, must have written I, okay. And here also, yes, now it is, okay. And the value of I is decremented by 1. Now the value of I is actually 4 minus 1 equal to 3. I will go again inside this loop. 3 is again greater than 0, so the condition is valid. I will again go inside this, and again I will update the value of fact. The fact has a value of 4 from last iteration. Now the new value of fact will be 4 multiplied by the current value of I, which is 3. So 4 multiplied by 3 is equal to 12. The value of I is decremented. Now 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. The value of I is 2 now. Now 2 is again greater than 0. I will go inside this. The new value of fact must be calculated or updated. The value of fact from the previous iteration is actually 12 multiplied by current value of I, which is equal to 2. So 12 multiplied by 2 is equal to 24. The value of I will be again decremented by 1, that is 1. The value of I in this particular iteration is actually 2. So decremented, after decrementing it by 1, the value remains 1. I will go inside this. 1 is again greater than 0. I will go inside the loop. The value of fact will again be updated. The previous value of fact is actually 24 multiplied by current value of I, which is equal to 1. So 24 multiplied by 1 is actually 24 itself. The value of value of I will again be decremented by 1. Now the value of I will be equal to 0. I will go inside the loop. Now 0 is not greater than 0. So this particular condition will fail and we'll get out of the for loop. So practically what this fact has done is, it has done 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1. Okay, so for understanding the recursion, you must understand what I have done here in these 3 lines. If I go iteration wise, when the, let's say if I has value of 4 initially in first iteration, value of fact is actually equal to 1. And after I got inside the loop, fact will be updated as 1 multiplied by the initial value of I, that is 4. It will be equal to 4. Okay, now the value of I is decremented by 1. So now the value of I is equal to 3 and fact is from last iteration 4. I will go again inside the loop. Fact, sorry, this fact is equal to, the last value of fact is 4 multiplied by current value of I, that is actually equal to 3, and that is equal to 12. So new value of fact is 12. I will again go back. Now the value of I is decremented by 1. Now the value of is equal to 2, and fact shit, fact is now 12. Again we'll go inside the loop and update the value, that is the older value of fact 12 multiplied by the current value of I, that is 2, is equal to 24. Okay, then again the value of I will be decremented, so I is now 1. Fact is equal to 24. I will go inside the loop again, and fact, what is happening, is equal to the older value of fact called 24 and multiplied by 1 is equal to 24. Now the value of I will be decremented again, so I now has a value of 0. Now at this condition, the conditional statement inside the for loop will fail. I will go outside the for loop, and we have already achieved the factorial of 4. Okay, so this is how this what I have shown you here is iteration wise what is happening inside this particular for loop. Okay, so now you can easily visualize by replaying, if you haven't understand, by replaying the past 4 to 5 minutes of this particular video, that what is happening inside this for loop. I have written here. So first iteration, second iteration, third, fourth, so all the fourth iteration. In the fifth iteration conditional will fail, and if condition has failed we will get out of the for loop. So you must have understand what is factorial, and how we can implement it by without using the idea of recursion. Now we'll try to see what is the idea of recursion and how we are going to solve the factorial problem by using the idea of recursion. Okay, so I will delete this, all this. Okay, now focus on these two lines only. Now as you can see, there is a similarity in the calculations done for 5 factorial and 4 factorial. Now look at this and look at this particular expression here. These two look exactly similar to each other. So can I write something like 5 factorial is actually equal to 5 multiplied by 4 factorial. Okay, and if I put the value of 4 factorial, which is equal to this, in this particular expression, I will again end up in the value called 120, which is exactly what we have calculated in the first part, at the first step. Okay, now why I have done this part is, this is actually the recursion in action. Suppose we have a function which actually calculates the factorial. Okay, so what let's say this function is fact, and if I input 5, so then this function fact actually calculates the 5 factorial. And if inside this, let's say this is the body, or I will do this, yeah, now I'm inside the body of the function fact, and inside this, let's say we have a result, a variable, integer type variable, and this is actually equal to 5 multiplied by fact 4. Okay, so you can see that, and I will write here return. Now this factorial 5 is actually returning me this result, or I can do is more simply, let's me cut it, Control V, and we'll just return result. Okay, now that is fine. I think now you should understand. Now this result initially has a value of 1. You can, I'm not showing the exact the syntax here of what could we do by when you try to implement it using C. We'll see that in short while inside the IDE. So what I'm trying to say here is that this particular function fact actually takes helps of itself for doing its own work. Okay, and I have misspelled the fact. I have to slow down. Okay, so this fact function is actually calling itself. Okay, and with this particular expression is exactly like this. So what I have written is, if I have to find the factorial of 5, so I have passed an argument 5 here to the function called fact. This function actually calculates the factorial of any number which will pass as an argument, and how it will do that is it will initialize a variable called result equal to 1, and what it will do is it will first multiply the number, take this number which we have passed on as an argument, and after that it will multiply it by whatever be returned. Let me again state that whatever be returned by the function fact, but this time I'm passing on the argument 4 here. Okay, now now this is the point of faith and not having faith on someone. Okay, let me write this word. It's the basis of recursion. Faith. Faith means yes, yeah, you know, faith is that okay, you rely on a particular function that it is going to do its work, eh, even if it is been proven or not. That is, you have faith that fact 4 will actually return this value, and if 5 multiplied by 24 is calculated, it is going to be 120, and this is what we have wanted fact 5 to return. That is, fact 5 must return the factorial of 5, which is actually 120. And so for calculating this, what it has done is it has multiplied whatever be returned by the fact 4 function and multiplied by 5. Okay, so practically fact 4 function is returning us the calculation, the result of calculation of this. So for going from here to here is, all you have to do is you have to multiply this by 5. So this is practically equal to this. Okay, so all you have to do is you have to keep faith that this will work. Okay, that this will work, and eventually the functions will call them itself, and this is your recursion in action. Okay, you see, this is a quite typical topic. The recursion technique has no valid rules of engagement. It means it's purely your imagination and your creativity. Recursion is only an idea in which, see, if you are a recursing function, then you can say that you are taking help of yourself for trying to do what you are intended to do. Okay, like in this case, if you are the function which calculates the factorial of a number, then what you are doing is you just multiplying the number of which factorial you have to find, and then again using yourself to calculate the factorial of x minus 1. Say if you have been passed with x, okay, so all you have to do is x minus 1. Okay, so what we have done is you have multiplied the number x with whatever be returned by this particular function, which is actually this function, but this time we have passed on the argument x minus 1. So you can say you have assumed that I have faith that this will return the value that I have wanted, and only I have to do is I have to multiply the number x with whatever be returned by this, and I will get the result what I have wanted, what is intended by this function factorial. Okay, so what will happen is in the first iteration, let me do something like this. Okay, so in the first call the result will be equal to 5 and multiplied by fact x minus 1, that is 5 minus 1 will be 4. And now for calculating this, the compiler will call this function fact and pass an argument x minus 1, that is fact4. It will call this. Okay, so inside this, now the body of fact4 exactly looks like this, because this is this particular function itself. So here you will again have a result variable, and this time the value of x is actually 4, and it will again call the fact function, and this time x minus 1, that is 4 minus 1 will be equal to 3. Okay, now again the compiler will call this function to see what is the value it has to multiply 4 with. So again a call to the fact function will be done, and then again the result variable will be initiated, and this time the value of x is 3 multiplied by fact 2. Okay, now again compiler will call this fact 2, and result will be equal to, this time my value of x is 2 multiplied by fact 1, and this will go on. Now what will happen in next line, let's say in next call the value of x is now equal to 1, so 1 multiplied by fact 1 minus 1 is 0. Now here we have reached a critical juncture. You know that while calculating the factorial of a number we have stopped at value 1, but if we try to implement this particular function, it will not stop anywhere. As you can see here, it has not stopped at 1. Now it will calculate the factorial of 0. In next line it will calculate the value of a factorial called minus 1, and in next line it will calculate value as minus 2, then minus 3, minus 4, minus 5 to minus infinity itself. So it's going inside an infinite loop. So what I will try to do is we have to stop it somehow at x equal to 1. Now from this particular line, what should be the factorial of 1? If you calculated, it must be equal to 1 itself. Okay, so what you want is if an argument equal to 1 is passed to the function fact, it must return value 1. This is what I wanted. Okay, so I will insert an if condition here. So if x is equal to 1, sorry, equal to 1. So then we return 1. Okay, and else I'll return this. So if I call fact equal to 1, so then it will first try to evaluate this particular condition statement. If x is equal to 1, it will return 1. Otherwise, it will keep on calculating as we have calculated before. So let's go back here again. So we'll not reach to this point. Now fact 1 is actually returning 1. Okay, so I'll remove this and replace it with 1. The result is 2. Now this 2 is returned by, now this is the result 2, which is calculated by fact 2. So I'll replace this fact 2 with 2. Okay, now fact 3 has actually calculated this number, so I'll replace fact 3 now. Sorry, with this. Okay, see, let's also multiplied by 1. We have, I think we have forgotten that. I'll remove this. Now this result is actually returned by this fact 4. So I'll remove it also. And this is what your first call will return: 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1. Okay, so this is how recursion works. See, in this particular problem we have figured out that we have to stop at value equal to 1. For every other different problem you have to figure out that stopping. Okay, you have to figure out how to stop the function from calling itself at a particular point. So this faith which you are talking about, this faith is actually valid. It must be valid for a range of values and not after that. If that faith keeps on coming to you, you will end up in an infinite loop. In this case, my faith is only for the value x equal to 1 and above, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and not for 0 minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 minus 4. So I have stopped my faith at x equal to 1 for every other problem while using the recursion. Two things you have to keep in mind. That first, you have to see what your faith is and how you are going to stop your faith, and second, what you are going to return. Now in this case I am returning this particular value. For every other type of problem you have to figure out how you are going to return your value. Now we'll see in this video lecture series, while discussing this particular topic, recursion, we'll see two different problems. One is that we have discussed here just now. I will try to implement it in the next lecture, and then we will see a more advanced problem using recursion, and there you will see that actually we have implemented the recursion in both of them, and we have used our faith by calling the function itself, that is recursion actually, but we have devised a different technique for stopping faith in those two problems, and we have devised a different technique or we have devised something different for what we want to return in those two problems. So recursion, that I have told you at the starting of the lecture, that recursion is not a technique. Recursion is an idea. Now how you are going to implement that idea is up to you. But that idea actually tells you a broad outline how you can tackle a particular problem. So in this particular problem of finding out the factorial, we have tackled it by first stopping our faith at x equal to 1 and returning the value, the argument multiplied by the factorial, which will be calling the function itself, but this time we'll pass the argument x minus 1 instead of x. Okay, so you have to think this one. You have to spend your time, you have to devote some time while grasping the topic of recursion, because you have to practice some problems on your own. Without that, you won't be able to understand the topic of recursion. This is not a common topic, it's an idea actually, and it's a very efficient and important way of solving problems, because it will drastically reduce the size of your code, and it's quite efficient. So I'll stop this lecture right here. Thank you.